Hi, it's Mike with the Claim Squad Public Adjusters here. And we have a different type of topic we're going to discuss on this video, which is the pros and cons of hiring a public adjuster or working with a public adjuster. And we're going to get into some nitty-gritty things about both the pros and the cons. In particular, I'm going to tell you a little bit about backgrounds of public adjusters so that this way you know who to hire, when to hire, and the best to hire when it comes to being a public adjuster. But let's get right into the pros. I'm going to bring up a couple. Number one, public adjusters have lower fees than attorneys. That's a known fact. Public adjuster fees range from 10 to 20%. If it's an emergency type claim, where it's been declared by the state of Florida, such as a hurricane, tornado, or flood, those fees will be 10%. Every other claim declared non-emergency, 20%. So attorney fees generally go, most are 40% contracts, usually some 33 1/3, some 50%, and then some hybrid contracts. Number two, public adjusters, we are the only group that represent the insured, the property damage owner. Okay? Well, you can say, well, wait a minute. Attorneys can represent me. What are you talking about? Well, here's the thing. In some law firms, they will represent you. And then down the hall, their partner represents the insurance companies. So, in a true 100% representation of what you do every single day, public adjusters do one thing: they represent you, the property damage owner. Another point about that's a pro is that public adjuster companies are very small. Some of it's a one-man show, a couple people working at the company, maybe less than 10, maybe less than 15. They're not big companies. So normally, for the most part, you will get personalized service. But I'll get more into that during the cons because there's some things that they don't, 99% of them don't do that I do. So those are three basic pros on why you should hire a public adjuster. And the most attractive really comes down to lower fees. But when we talk about the cons, you really have to know what their knowledge and background is. Where did they come from? What did they do before? See, I worked for an insurance company, I worked for a law firm, and attorneys hired me to be an expert witness. Why? Because of my background and experience. Public adjusters, I've seen a lot, may have construction knowledge, been a general contractor, worked for restoration companies. That's fine, that's great, but that does not get the case settled. Let me go into detail about this and break it down. If I were to equate the importance of a percentage of what settles a claim, I would put 10% importance on having a construction knowledge or background. You can know the ins and outs of how to build a house, tear down a house, repair a house. That doesn't matter. And let me tell you why. The other 90% of settling a property damage claim comes from two factors. Number one, knowledge of the law. And number two, knowledge of the insurance policy. So you can have a public adjuster that will tell you, oh, I've been a general contractor in a construction business for 30 years. That's great. What do you know about insurance policies? What do you know about the law? Well, insurance policies are written by lawyers. When they change insurance policies, they're written by lawyers. When lawsuits are filed, okay, and the case gets settled between two attorneys, they have no construction background. So your case is settled by somebody that has no construction background. Think about it. My background is both the legal, insurance company, and expert witness. Now, is it important to know some knowledge of the construction business? Of course. But again, if a public adjuster has a construction background, they write an estimate for $350,000 and they put everything that was damaged. Great. They send it off to the insurance company says, well, wait a minute. We're not going to pay for all these damages. We will pay for $10,000 because the pipe broke in a bathroom, but everything else is excluded. Now, does your public adjuster then put his head down and run away and say, oh, well, okay, and then come back to you and say, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, well, I've got some good news and bad news. Good news is your case is settled. Bad news is only for $10,000. Right? So that's why it's important for your public adjuster to know the insurance policy inside and out. But not only that, how you get around the language in the insurance policy. That's what attorneys do. That's how they become successful in settling cases. And so that's a big issue that I think I see with public adjusters. So find out their background, their knowledge, their experience. Number two, did you know public adjusters can be blacklisted by insurance companies? Attorneys can too. How are they blacklisted? Well, when I worked for the insurance company, what they would do is, for attorneys that were jerks, and there were a few, you blacklist them, which you just make things a lot more difficult for them, and you don't settle right away. You drag things out. Same thing happens with public adjusters. See, don't get me wrong, it's frustrating to deal with the insurance companies. It's not fun, and but you have to remain professional. Not only for your business, but can you imagine if you're working for a public adjuster that's blacklisted and you didn't know? And nobody really knows. There's no public domain you can find out if the public adjuster was blacklisted. But you work with a public adjuster who's been blacklisted by Universal or Citizens, okay? And now your case is a year and a half later, and maybe that person's been blacklisted. Why? And it's not your fault, because of something they did 3 years ago, being a jerk and yelling at the claim adjuster for not settling a case. Listen, this is a long-term business. At least I would hope for people, they look at it that way. You're going to be frustrated. They're going to frustrate you. And guess what? The insurance company is going to frustrate you, the property owner too, who has an insurance policy. Why aren't they paying me? So you've got to learn to be professional in all your dealings, and that there's other ways to counter what the insurance company does. Okay, so that's something important to know. Number three, the attorneys that public adjusters work with. This is an important point. So if you become, at a certain point in your case, let's say the insurance company is willing to pay $50,000, but the public adjuster is demanding $150,000. So you're $100,000 difference, and you have to file a lawsuit. So you file the lawsuit, and they refer it to their attorney. Now, I've seen public adjusters that have attorneys that are in their same office. Some that maybe they're relatives. Maybe they've had some other relationship with the attorneys. Or maybe it's an attorney that they found, and they think that they're pretty good attorneys. Here's the issue. Most attorneys do not specialize in property damage. As a matter of fact, there's only a few in the entire state of Florida that actually specialize on property damage claims. The insurance companies know who the good attorneys are and who are not the good attorneys. So public adjusters may have an attorney that they partner with, and the insurance company knows they don't really fear that attorney. The insurance company won't go to trial, but what the difference is, your case that may be worth $150 to a lesser respected attorney, that case may settle for only $120,000 rather than $150 if that person had a good, competent property damage attorney. See, I use multiple attorneys. One of my alliances and partnerships is with Morgan & Morgan. They have so many offices throughout the state, and they're one of the first ones that actually started the whole pipe damage claim lawsuits. So there's an individual there I have a relationship with that I'll be working with. There's another individual in Fort Lauderdale, another firm. There's a firm in Miami. I have a firm in Tampa, a firm in Orlando. So I have many different firms that I will work with that I've known the competency level based on my experience with the insurance companies. So it's very important to have a public adjuster that has a damn good attorney to help. And some of the law firms also that I've selected specialize in certain different claims. So for instance, Morgan & Morgan is great at the pipe damage claims, but their fees are pretty high. That's why it's easier to go with a public adjuster, because I don't know if you knew this, but if a lawsuit's filed and we work with an attorney, you don't have to pay the attorney. The attorney gets no money from your settlement. They get an hourly fee that they get from the insurance company. So whatever your case is settled for, that's your money. Okay. There's some other cons in here besides this, but these are some of the 3 big points. And I would just say, if you have any questions regarding a property damage claim, give me a call. As on my website, if I can't help you, I'll lead you in the right direction. I give that promise to everybody, because I'm not a big fan of the insurance company, so it's no skin off my back if I help somebody. But I'm going to have other videos like when should you hire a public adjuster, and why should you hire a public adjuster. Kind of piggybacks off of this video right here about the pros and cons. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned a little bit. And again, any type of property damage claim that you have or want to talk about, I can try to help you the best I can and give you the right advice, even if I can't help. So give me a call. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.